Welcome back to Astraea. Alright, right off the bat, let me apologize. I'm sorry for the jump scares. I was actually after a creaking heart and decided the footage was just too good to not cut into some sort of montage, and that was the result. Sorry if you leaped out of your pants, but it is what it is. On to other things. We have XP farm. We have a nursery / sugarcane, allay powered sugarcane farm. And we have a bridge. All three of these things I'm going to try to accomplish. So here we go. Mistakes were made. I sort of rage quit yesterday due to working on an XP farm, a fairly simple XP farm using infesting potions on armadillos that are scared by a zombie. Dolores right here. I set up this little pod here. A wither rose is placed on top of that soul sand, and Dolores will scare armadillos who are also sitting on top of the soul sand and taking damage, while a dispenser is above. That dispenser, when I press this button, will dispense splash potion of infestation on top of them, and then they start spawning silverfish, and silverfish fall into these two little pods here. And then I hit the armor stand with sweeping edge and collect the XP. It works really, really well as far as the amount of XP. However, I'm a dummy, and obviously the silverfish can escape through these stairs and the side, but they can also escape toward Dolores. And Dolores is surrounded by stone, which these silverfish can infest. This entire area was completely decimated. I have to completely rebuild this because it's not properly situated. Dolores needs to really be looking down into the armadillos so the armadillos cannot escape. I'm removing these rails so I can send Dolores over here to not bother me. Did I? Oh, I broke the button. Darn it. All right, let me go grab a button. Yeah, remove the button because that block behind her was infested. Darn it. Should have flipped that. All right, she'll still get stuck. She'll wrap around and get stuck nonetheless. Okay, let us rebuild this structure. Let's bust that out. Yes, I also have water in there. So essentially when I plant the wither rose, I'll just demonstrate really quick here. plant the wither rose on top of the soul sand or dirt or anything. And then I would dispense water, which would immediately break the wither rose, and then I could collect it just by being adjacent to the block. All right. Let's clear this out. Okay, so Dolores is going to be in a minecart right here. Her level, she's going to have to look down into, and I want to block separation. So I think if I put the soul sand ultimately here, that way I can have one block here and a slab. I did this in a creative world just kind of briefly. And what I did in the creative world was a trap door. So I had a trap door like right here. Dispenser could be right on the side. Actually, the dispenser could be right here. Let me think here. Nonetheless, I need stairs. This is the little pods that the silverfish would live in right here. And she's looking down. All right, let me think here. I'm going to think about this design for a second, then I'll come back to you guys. I think I nailed the design. Essentially, Dolores will be sitting right here in a minecart, and the armadillos will be on her same level. We have one block separation. This trap door will give me access to both the dispenser and placing the wither rose. One thing I have to keep in mind is not to open this while I'm breeding or while they're bobbing up and down on the bubble column, or else they will escape. I have the dispenser right here in front. I push this button, the water goes away. I push this button again, the water resumes. Right now, I only have 6 spider eyes, so I'm going to have to go out at night and kill a bunch of spiders and hopefully not get blown up by a creeper in the process. But yeah, I'm ready to start populating this with armadillos. I'm going to close this fence gate. I have a feeling the baby armadillos can fit through this little gap here. Right here. As you can kind of see this faint black line. I have a feeling they will fit right through there. So, you know, we have to try. Let's go out and let's get at least 2 armadillos so I can at least start the breeding process. And again, I only have 6 spider eyes, so I'm only going to be able to make 3 additional. So I'll have 5 in there, and then I'll have to go get more spider eyes to get. I'd like to get at least 15 armadillos inside the chamber. Where'd you guys go? There's one. There's the other. There's, wow. How'd you get all the way over here? Come on. All right. I love how they move. It's like little centipedes. Let's walk slowly. All right. Okay, guys. You are going to be on quite an adventure. You're going to live the rest of your life in a hole, giving me XP. Okay, it's kind of cruel, but, you know, it's Minecraft. You're just voxels. Come here, guys. 1 in. 2 in. All right, no damage done. You guys are great. All right, let's get you guys in this hole. I'm not sure if they can bob out, but let's see. Oh yeah, they can definitely bob out. Okay, I'm gonna have to push the button on the dispenser here. Let's just do that really quick. Don't follow me. Take the water out. Oh wow, he just went right on in. Okay, well, there we are. Now, when I breed these guys, these small armadillos will have a chance to fit into these stair areas. Here, let me show you from beneath. Yeah, so they're about the same size as the silverfish. The silverfish, I think, are just slightly smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just remove this, let them fall down here, put a fence gate right here. Yeah, and then just have them like live here until I'm ready to move them back up top, because it's not that hard just to move them back into that hole. That is perfect. Yep, now he's got a little chamber. He can't get any damage. It's only a 3 block drop, and yeah, we're good. We're good to go. Okay, I will come back when I have a bunch of these guys in this chamber. I'm back. I finished the design. I had to adjust quite a few things and go in a creative world and kind of tweak a few settings, but essentially this is what I have. So Dolores is here. There's a trap door between Dolores and the armadillos. And there's also a trap door on top of the armadillos. So I think I have like 17 or 18 in here right now. I have this little platform just so I can splash them with the infestation potion and place the wither rose. But down here is where the real action happens. So armor stand in between two blocks so it doesn't really move out of this little quadrant. Soul sand, so I could dispense water and these guys won't drown if I dispense the water because it turns into a bubble column. It's also nice because it makes, everything float to the top. So as you can see, these scoots rather, floated right to the top. Yeah, so I push it once, it dispenses the water, push it again, it retrieves the water. I'm down to 2 levels right now. It's just enchanting a backup bow, and I need, I think, 21 levels or something to combine this bow with this book to turn it into a perfect bow like I have right here. I'm going to walk you through the use of the farm. Open the trap door, grab the wither rose, and place it so they immediately start taking damage, as you can see, and the infestation potion, you could just splash it like right in there, and immediately you can hear the silverfish spawning. So they spawn quite a bit. Let this build up a little bit, and a couple swings. I do have knockback on this sword. I do not recommend knockback. I'm actually doing a little cheaty thing here where I turn off the gravity of this armor stand so it doesn't get pushed around. I'm doing that with the armor poser mod. Yeah, it works. I actually locked it for interaction, which I unlocked for some reason, and gravity. I have gravity set to no. I know it's a little cheaty, but it works. That way I don't have to have 2 swords. I am planning on making another sword, though, with Bane of Arthropods. That works really well against these guys. I already killed him in 1 swing, and I don't even have a sharpness sword. I actually have smite. Been doing an experiment with having smite 5 on my main sword, because I find for the most part you're fighting skeletons and zombies, and with smites 5 and a crit you can kill a zombie or a skeleton in 1 hit. So as you can see, I'm already up to level 32. The reason I collect the XP so quickly on this server is because we have that bunching mod server level. So all the XP clumps together. That's what it's called, clumps or whatever. All right, nonetheless, this lasts for 3 minutes. I always do that by accident. This lasts for 3 minutes. See, this is what happens when you don't turn gravity off. It still works, but you end up dancing with the armor stand a bit. All right, a couple more maybe. Let's break the armor stand, put it back. Lock it for interaction, turn off gravity. All right, that should be it. All right, so then I just push this button. It will kick off the wither rose, which is floating right here. All those scoots come back up. I pick that up, and I'm good to go. That's it. I can push it again, retrieve the water. Again, they won't drown because they're in a bubble column, so I could theoretically just leave that on permanently, but I prefer to not torture the armadillos any more than I need to. So 37 levels. I was at 2, I believe. So quite a bit. It's pretty efficient. I could probably get a few more armadillos in here to make it even better, up to the point of entity cramming and really get this thing singing. But I think for my use, which is essentially doing what I'm doing right now, which is just enchanting gear and getting backup gear and what have you, it works pretty darn well. That's perfect. All right, that's my backup bow. Let me put it in with my backup gear. Yeah, so I have a whole kit of backup gear with all the good stuff, and all my fortune stuff is also in here, along with the silk touch hoe. As I mentioned in my previous episode, my next build is going to be a nursery. Behind me is the hole for that nursery. And in front of me are 8 shulker boxes for all the supplies of that nursery. Let's get to build time. here we are in the main interior section of the Sugarcane / nursery greenhouse. I decorated it quite a bit, kind of packed a bunch of things in here. I can't wait for some of the new plants, firefly bush and regular bush and wildflowers, so I can add those. Right now, it's pretty much from head to toe packed with plants. I think it turned out really, really cool. The main feature, of course, is the collection of the sugarcane bubble column. So I have a little underground water shaft that pushes all the sugarcane collected from the allays up to the main storage facility. I even decorated this area a little bit. I didn't want it to just be stone, so I mossified it, just kind of made it look a little bit more interesting. There's an observer clock that kicks out from a dispenser, and then the sugarcane floats up into this bubble column, feeds into these hoppers and into this chest, and so far this thing has been just kicking really, really well. It's quite large, and the allays so far seem to have been keeping up. I haven't seen them leave a lot. I'm sure this is not a lossless farm, though. I'm sure they may get distracted and what have you. But yeah, so the allays are flying around. As you can see, they fly into another observer clock connected to a note block with a player head on top. That's a Sumi's head, actually. That silences the note block. The main contraption right here is a flying machine connected to a daylight sensor, so that anytime the power level changes, which I think happens 14 to 15 times per day, which gives plenty of time for the sugarcane to grow a bit, and then this station over here just returns it immediately. I am planning on making a second, kind of mirroring this one. I have both the bamboo farm and a wheat farm, a villager powered wheat farm. The bamboo farm, though, will be powered by these guys, because these guys are they're just so swell flying around here. Brings a lot of life to the build. Let's talk about some of the plants in here. So speaking of life to the build, I explicitly added cherry leaves because of their leaf droppings, and I also added a spore blossom because of the spore blossoms that it releases. I am also planning on throwing in some of the pale oak leaves because they're dropping. We're not on 121.5 yet, but when the other leaves are added, those will drop as well. I might intersperse those throughout a little bit. The blossoms are open. That means it's nighttime. Surprise dog isn't sleeping already. He's a very, very active sleeper. These are the reasons, actually, I went to the pale garden at the beginning of the episode. I was just after 2 or 3 of these to fill in, right here, to fill in my my nursery. Here's a little dirt on the floor. This is kind of like these garden beds leaking a bit, or maybe a little spillover, so when they're filled. And this is my favorite feature, which I know I'm not the first one to design this, but a mine cart on a rail connected to a grindstone, connected to a fence gate. Makes for a really convincing wheelbarrow. A lot of people put grass under, and the grass will actually clip through. I didn't do anything like that, but I may at some point. And all the rest are, just your basic organic materials. You got a few beehives and pots and saplings looking like larger trees. You have all the tulips over here, some mushrooms over here, a little chain trick to look like hanging plants. This I completely lifted from B-Dubs from his Let's Build World. I pretty much try to represent every single plant I could think of. I'm sure I'm missing a few, but I think it looks pretty lush, looks pretty cool. Not sure what the saw is doing, but hey, whatever. I needed some movement in here. So that is the nursery. Hello, it is raining and I am in front of my rocket shop. I just wanted to explain something to you guys really quick. Me and Devin, who built this tower over here, we built our shops across a body of water. There's like a little river that connects a large body of water to this. So actually it would be a strait, not a river, because it's connecting 2 bodies of water. It makes it very inconvenient for other players to go from the main shopping district, located way over there, just under spawn, or under Devin's other large shopping district build, which this is kind of marking spawn. So yeah, it makes it very inconvenient to cross over here, because as you can see, there's really no bridge, there's no easy way. So you're either swimming or you're using rockets in order to get over to our shops. So me and Devin concocted a plan that includes building a bridge. And the original plan was we were going to collab on the bridge. I was going to just build the shape and then he was going to shade it. I went a little overboard and I just kind of shaded and did everything. So I'm going to construct that bridge, and then I've reached out to Devin already to basically give him free reign to redo the shading on the bridge, the block palette, do anything he really wants. So that is the plan. I am going to create a bridge that spans right here, approximately right here, to the portal. Let me swim over there so you can kind of see. So this is the main shopping district portal, or a little pavilion covering the portal. The bulk of the shopping district is right here. We have the Skulls and Shells, and we have CV's wood shop, and just every shop. Skelly's general store, just every shop is pretty much located over here. There is a second area up these stairs where you'll see a few other shops popping up, along with CV's beautiful boat, Rozzy's little tent stand set up. A bridge is needed to the shopping district annex so people can reach my rocket shop and Devin's tower, which is a bookshop, by the way. That's what I'm on to next. Bridge is done. I think it turned out really, really cool. It's relatively simple, kind of medieval style, but I love the pattern with the polished basalt, the chiseled bricks, and the polished andesite. It really creates a nice, interesting pattern. It serves its purpose. It's connecting, again, the main shopping district right over here to Devin's bookstore and my rocket shop. Devin went ahead and fleshed out some of these early paths that I laid down. He also installed, great, of course it's got to rain. He also installed these light posts, which are, I believe, Rozzy's design that she's spread out across the main shopping district. Lights up the path, looks really nice. He also added this nice little balcony kind of patio with some stairs and cool little rocks to jump over as a more direct route. So tower shortcut is what he's calling that. There's no shortcut to Rocket, but yeah, that is done. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. That's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will be back soon with another episode, either from the Astraea server or my Forever World, or some Minecraft will happen. Have a good one.